So, imagine you're a Lakers fan, right? 11th in the Western Conference, and everything is going to And then you see this. What the fuck?
Welcome to another episode of the Game of Inches Basketball News. In the first article that we're going to be looking at the Atlanta Hawks' Clint Capella is out for 1 to 2 weeks with a strained calf. So this is just adding to the list of players on the Atlanta Hawks that have been injured recently.
Yeah, I believe it'll be tough for the Hawks now because I believe we was reporting either a couple days ago or last week about them losing some players. And with their upcoming schedule, which games they can win, but losing their big man, as well as the other guys that's on the injury report list, it's going to be really tough for the Hawks to get some wins and try to get out of that ninth spot in the Eastern Conference. And the Eastern Conference is a tough conference to be in when you are trying to get into the playoff race and not the play-in race. So I believe the Hawks, they're really going to have to rally around each other, and Trae Young's going to have to step up big time to help to lead his team to some victories until they get their players back.
At this point, I don't know if they can stay healthy for the rest of the year. I mean, do you know where they are in the rankings?
Ninth.
I believe ninth in the
East.
East.
Ninth in the East. So they're already on the fence. And unfortunately, I think this is going to be one of many more injuries to come for the Hawks. I think this year they're just injured. I think this year they're just going to be injured.
I would agree with that. So going into the season, I was pretty high on the Atlanta Hawks. My thought process over the offseason was getting DeJounte Murray really bolstered their backcourt with some defense, which was holding them back the last couple years. But this season, Trae Young is absolutely shooting terrible. I think he's like 10% on three-point shots over his last like 50 or 100 shots. So, yeah, he's having a terrible year. The bench is having a terrible year. Clint Capella isn't having a terrible year, but he's not having a good year. And he is known for consistently having good years. Never had great years, but he is great at being good. So he's also underperforming a little bit. And John Collins is one of the players on the team who's been in and out with injuries. So I think the Clint Capella injury is probably the most significant they've had this far, as they don't really have another true big man to back him up. Their second string center is Okongwu, and he's only 6'9", and he's pretty slim, so if you're trying to match him up against a Jokic or Joel Embiid, you're not going to have very much success. So I think this injury definitely hurts the Hawks a lot more than the other ones, like John Collins. So I agree with Corey. The Hawks have definitely underperformed, and I think this is about the time that you might start losing hope. So I think that they would be better off trying to figure out how to get their team to mesh better going into next season.
No, I was just going to piggyback off of what Kevin said about them not having a true big man and like just being in the East. Like most of the Eastern teams have like a true big man, even with the Celtics having Williams coming back, and then of course, like you said, Embiid. Cleveland has Jared Allen and even like K Love. I think the only team that
Evan Mobley's 6'11".
Yeah, so the East got some big men also, and that's going to make it hard for the Hawks to even like penetrate the paint or even get rebounds.
All right, so in the next article, we're going to be looking at Tyrell Terry, the Dallas Mavericks 2020 first round total number 31 pick in the draft, retires from basketball at age 22. And his reasoning, as quoted, was, "It began to destroy me."
Sorry, I'm eating a fucking hash brown. You caught me off guard. Well, it's anxiety is what I saw. And this is not me being a dick. I may sound like a dick, but I'm not being a dick. He couldn't handle the pressure. It's unfortunate, and it's like, yeah, you see all of these young bright stars, in the first round of the how many rounds are there? 2 in the NBA.
Yeah.
So it's like you see a guy that goes, gets selected in the draft to a team like the Mavericks, but it's like you never really see the dark side of the players that don't make it. I mean, I completely understand. I mean, I don't have anxiety myself, but other people, it's real. it is 100% real, and I understand. I can sympathize, not empathize, but sympathize with his decision.
No, I applaud the young man for doing like what's best for him and his mental health. Just because, like he said, it's destroying him. So I can't speak personally about like what he's feeling on the inside, just because like I never been through something like that. However, I did like I had my own like mental health as far as like depression and stuff, and I know I could get down in dark places and stuff. And that's all like I don't know like what kind of team or his family members he had around him to try to help him out, but obviously I don't believe he had enough, or even like maybe the team didn't help him enough to like give him resources to help him through what he's been going through. So if he feel like this is the best way for him to get into a better place and a better mindset to step away from the game of basketball, because that could have been like affecting like how he was his anxiety. It could have been affecting it in a negative way, and having to deal with it on your own is really hard if you're trying to get out of that mind state. So I applaud the young man, and like I just hope he gets better, and somewhere down the road, hope people like do try to help him out and don't try to like bash him for it, just because this mental health stuff is like serious stuff, and like people die from it. Like on a constant basis.
I want to point out how hard the transition from the NCAA to the NBA actually is. And being as hard of a transition as it is to start, I don't think the league and the organizations that make up the league make that transition any easier. I think they make it harder than it has to be. If you take a look at a team like the Denver Nuggets, you see a lot of really good draft players that don't get opportunities, and even when they do perform the actions that are asked of them, they still don't get opportunities. So I could see coaches putting a lot more pressure on players and trying to get these young players to perform at higher expectations than some of the players that have actually been in the league for many years. And I think that is a situation that was pretty apparent if you look at, say, a Bol or Michael Porter Jr. on the Denver Nuggets. They were both incredibly talented, and it seemed like the Denver Nuggets were playing some mental games with those two players their first couple seasons coming into the league. So I just wanted to point out that I think the organizations and a lot of coaching staffs around the league actually make the transition to the NBA a lot tougher than it actually should be. And a lot of these young players aren't getting the opportunities they should be just because of the age and the situation they're in. And a lot of teams, veteran players, pick on the younger players and make them do a whole bunch of intern type of stuff, like go get coffee and a whole bunch of unnecessary stuff. So it's just not a welcoming environment for college players coming into the league. So I think that should change.
I hope he comes back as a like some kind of mental health speaker.
All right. So in the next article, we're going to be taking a look at the Golden State Warriors, Stephen Curry, and his injury. There is a outcome to that. It was his shoulder, and he will be out a few weeks to recover from this injury. So with that being said, DeMarcus, what do you think?
Yeah, the team, the Warriors, going to have to step up and try to get things going without Steph. Because even with Steph on the team and in the lineup, they still were struggling and losing games. And right now, they're currently 10th in the West. But Steph, he's been the one carrying the team, like averaging about 30 points a game. And so with him missing, I would say maybe a month and a half, he might be out. They're really going to have to like lean heavily either on Klay Thompson or Jordan Poole. And like I said yesterday, Draymond, he's going to have to do more than score just 1 point. He got to get at least like a double-double or triple-double if they want to have a better chance of winning. So far, I would say their best player without Steph is Andrew Wiggins. He's been the most consistent to me. As a team, Golden State has to step up, and Jordan Poole got to be more consistent.
He said it's not entirely serious, and he is looking forward to his return. He said that Curry will most likely have the majority of the season to play, which is a good sign coming from the coach. However, it is pretty costly because so far this year they're 0-3 without Curry, and they're only half a game ahead of the T-Wolves. They're in 10th place in the West. They're right on the bubble. Like DeMarcus said, the whole fucking team needs to step up in his absence because I don't think Curry coming back from injury will want to carry the entire team. They're not going to get an automatic berth. They're going to be stuck in the play-in. Like, that's their best shot.
So I agree with Giannis Antetokounmpo when he said that the best player in the league is the one that wins an NBA championship. And he said this when he was asked who the best player in the league is after the Warriors won. So he was suggesting Stephen Curry is the best player in the league because he can go out there and win you a championship. And I agree with that. I think as long as the Warriors make it to a play-in spot, you know, they have just as good of a chance of winning the championship as anyone else if Steph Curry is healthy. But without Steph Curry, I think that fans across the league are going to realize how bad this team really is. So Draymond Green is having a terrible year at power forward. He's struggling a lot. Anthony Wiggins? No. What the hell? Andrew Wiggins.
Andrew. There you go.
Perfect. Yeah, Andrew Wiggins has been injured just about all year. Maybe not all year, but pretty frequently. Klay Thompson is having a really bad year shooting, so I don't think that's going to be consistent, but it is what it is. Jordan Poole is a very inconsistent player, and he's your best bench player, so you have some players that are struggling this year paired with a very inconsistent talent, so I think the Warriors are probably going to go on a nice little slide here without Curry, but as long as they're able to maintain a spot in the play-in race, I think they should have just as good of a chance at winning a championship as ever. So that's my take.
I'll say for Draymond Green, like I'm looking at his last 5 games, and there's only one game where he scored over 5 points. He got one where it's 3 points, 2 points, 11 points, 2 points, and then 1 point.
I think he's only averaging 8, but
yeah, he is. He's averaging 8 points a game, 6 rebounds a game.
Average, you know. So
what happened to him?
Doesn't sound like a lot, but if you look at it like 50% less than normal, that actually is quite a bit. So percentage-wise, he's falling off, but he wasn't really the most impactful scorer to begin with, to be fair.
The Nets got fined $25,000 for sitting 8 people. KD, Kyrie, Ben Simmons, Claxton, Seth Curry, O'Neal, Joe Harris, and TJ Warren. What the fuck? I think it's an absolute joke.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's like their whole team they set out. I believe the league, whenever they do have like their meetings again, maybe this is something that needs to come up as far as like players having rest days, opposed to them just lying about the injury report. Just say, hey, like maybe at the beginning of the year or somewhere, like during the week, this player, and this player, they're not going to play on Thursday night because they're going to be resting. Instead of saying, oh, these 3 players are out because they got like a sore ankle or a sore hamstring, I feel like they should just be transparent, and maybe the league should also look into like giving these players some type of rest days, knowing like how rigorous and how tough the NBA season could be, like playing 82 games, and plus if your team make the playoff, you got to play, the playoff games as well. and how the injuries are in today's game with so many star players being out. And I believe that's something that should be looked at as far as like designating rest days for players, so that way even the fans can know, okay, Kevin Durant is going to be playing this game, so I'm not going to. I was coming here to see Kevin Durant play, so I'm not going to go this game. I'll just watch it at home on TV. That way they can know and plan ahead of time if they want to come to the game or not.
That's exactly what happened on the 10th. People came specifically to see Durant, just to see him walk out in his fucking warm-up uniform. Here's the thing. This is what pisses me off. The coach, Vaughn?
Zach Vaughn, yeah.
Zach Vaughn, is that his name?
Yeah.
So this guy, he goes, everything has been reported and documented. Okay, which is okay. What else? What do you got? Curry and Harris came off off-season surgeries. That's understandable. Claxton had hamstring tightness. It's weak, but okay. O'Neal has a personal issue. We don't know what that is. I didn't read, or I haven't found what that is yet. If it is regarding mental health, I hope he addresses that first. And then he mentions KD. He says he's leading the league in minutes. That's understandable. Why not put him in?
Yeah, you can play him for like 10 or 15 minutes and then pull him out for the rest of the game.
Exactly. You don't need to fucking sit him for the whole damn game. And then, on top of all of that, what about Simmons, Kyrie, and Warren? So what about them?
Yeah, and that also goes into like what I was saying. Like if Kevin Durant has been playing or lead the league in minutes or been playing a lot of minutes, you can go to the league and say, hey, like Kevin Durant been playing like this amount of minutes for like this amount of games. I'm gonna sit him out Thursday just to get him some rest because we're overusing him and I don't want to like risk him getting hurt. Instead of like, you guys were talking about this last week as far as like now like with this coming out and they saying like the injuries pretty much was like fake injuries, and we go to think like, okay, like somebody like Anthony Davis or LeBron James sit out because they got like an injury, but is it really an injury or is they just sitting out because they don't want to play? And I believe like this article is just, it says doubts on like injuries moving forward. Like how can we trust the injury report now? If somebody do have a sore ankle, we're just going to be as a fans thinking like, okay, maybe it's not a sore ankle, maybe he's just tired or maybe he don't want to play.
Well, I see it as like it's different. It's different with certain players. It's like you have some. For me, I don't know too much about TJ Warren. He might have some reoccurring injury that he needs to rest. That's understandable. However, Kyrie and Simmons and his stupid orange pants are jokes. They're good. They're like, oh no, I'm sweating. Ugh. I just can't stop thinking of like I see Ben Simmons and those stupid orange pants live rent free in my head because I'm just sitting there, or he's just sitting there looking pretty, and I'm just like, you're fucking making money just sitting there, you little.
I used to think like, man, I'll get paid like 5-10 million just to sit on the bench. I don't need to get in, coach. I'd be the greatest hype man you ever seen. Hey, good play out there. Good play, big fella. Yeah, he dunked on you, but you still tried. Good play. Hey, get him next time. Hey, that was a travel, but hey, you tried though. Good play. Good play. Marcus, you want to get in? No, I'm good, coach. I'm good.
No, I'm good, man. I'm
hey,
all
who
right.
needs some water though? I got this Gatorade bottle. Who needs some Gatorade?
Hey man, I got that towel. I got that towel for you, man. I got you.
Yeah, you got a little sweat on your forehead. Let me get that for you, man.
Hey,
We don't need to get hurt out there.
Hey, you got a knot in your back? Let me give you a little massage here. Let me help you out.